Welcome to this edition of Roundtable. Today, scamming seniors. You'll want to stay tuned. We'll be right back. Scamming seniors. Difficult situation, difficult topic to cover, but we've got two experts here with us today. First one is Suzanne Soto-Davies, the founder and publisher of Silver and Gold magazine for adults 55 plus. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mark.
And thank you so much for being here.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
And do you want to introduce Bobby?
I would love to, yes. We have today Bobby Assadourian, otherwise known as Just Ask Bob. He's a contractor and owner of Triple R Inc., which is a contracting company for Burlington and Hamilton. Welcome, Bobby.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Bobby, because you're the expert on contracting, can you tell me what are the issues about scamming seniors from your business perspective?
It's a matter of trust. Sometimes also it's opportunity. Seniors typically are retired and they're home. So unfortunately for the criminal element out there in the contracting industry, there's an opportunity. Seniors most often, I believe, come from a day and age when people didn't have to lock their doors. So there's trust. I mean, it's in the media many times. I read it, just disgusts me, whether it's contractors or male and female entering the home under the premise of using the telephone. Then while one's using the telephone, the other's rifling through the dressers. But in the particular case of contracting, they feel that they can get their way in, get a large deposit, make up some phony work, get the money and dash.
But you know something, you mentioned trust, and that is a large part of it. Even if if it eventually turns out to be somebody scamming you from a contracting point of view, they have to establish that trust. So how is a senior ever supposed, or anybody supposed to determine whether they're getting a good deal from a contractor?
Well, I can remember my dad always pushing this into my mind. Maybe a little difficult to comprehend for a lot of people, but trust should never be given out blindly. Trust has to be earned. So I believe, regardless who it is, entering into a contract with a contractor of home renovations, especially seniors, go into it non-trusting. Look at references, call the city for trade licenses, scrutinize them very, very carefully. Only if it's all worked out, it's said and done, the job's finished, everybody was happy, then the next time you hire them, then you can engage them with trust. So you just can't give it blindly. It's very important.
And Suzanne, in your magazine, do you cover topics like this?
We do. We have covered some topics. In fact, last year we tied in with an event that was happening in the city of Burlington called Empowering Seniors.
And you're the vice chair of that.
I am the vice chair of the Mayor Seniors Advisory Committee for Burlington, yes. So this allows for me to connect with seniors on a more deeper local level. So we have done we've put a lot of effort into trying to make seniors aware of the various different ways they can be scammed, because having a door-to-door contractor is merely one, although it's huge. But seniors nowadays are being scammed by email. The bank email, the famous bank email is
eBay,
one.
Craigslist.
Yes, exactly. Your bank needs you to put in your password again, and a telephone one is another one. Halton Region said that one of their latest scams right now is one called a grandchild scammer. And they will phone call the grandparent and they will say, "Hi, Grandma, it's your favorite grandson." So the grandmother will say, "Oh, hi, Charlie, is that you?" "Yes, it's me. I need some help. I don't want Mom and Dad to know." So this builds their trust, automatically connects them, and then they're giving out money and being scammed.
And giving out the money before a service is provided or before you're aware of who it is on the other end of the phone must be difficult, Bobby, for you, because I know contractors need money down.
Deposits, yes.
How much would you say is a good portion to have that commitment from somebody, but just enough to have that commitment from them?
Good question. The problem is, at least here in Ontario, it's unregulated. I mean, there's contractors charging 5%, contractors asking for 100% paid, and also the problem is they're asking for it in cash. So I would advise all homeowners, never pay in cash. Absolutely never. And your deposit, now it varies. My firm typically charges anywhere from 30 to 50%, and again, it depends on the job. Depends if we're ordering a special order window. But even more important, deposit, backing up a moment, they have to make sure if the contractor shows up unsolicited, don't even answer the door. That's the very first red flag.
That topic is actually something that I was going to ask you, because we've done a lot of research through the magazine and through the Seniors Advisory Committee, and 3 main reasons why are seniors being targeted? What would you say are the 3 main reasons?
I would say one of the main reasons is because they are so trusting, because they come from that generation that is trusting. And second of all, they can be easily confused.
Because they're home.
Because
and
they're
you
home.
wouldn't think
You're
about
right.
that.
You're
they
right.
said the second major reason is because they're home. And the third major reason is because they open their doors. Somebody will knock on the door, they open the door. They wouldn't even think of it twice. So this is the first thing we try and tell people.
So it's the first level of safety.
The first level, yes, of safety is do not open your door to strangers. This is something we teach our children. Why are we doing it? So it's something that Bobby has been able to rectify somewhat with a product that he was able to sell through his website. It's a large viewfinder, is that right?
Yes. If you can imagine now, most homes typically have a very small viewfinder, as if they even have one.
If
one at all. And when you look through it, I mean, you can barely see anything. Yeah, I mean, you can tell somebody's there. You can't even tell anything beyond that. Now, I have a product that's much larger. It's about 3.5 inches. This product, it's all about the quality of the bevels in the glass. You can actually see about 20 feet out, and you can see to the bottom of the doormat. So I firmly believe security must start at your front door.
Exactly.
You need to know who it is. Now, what I tell my mom, who lives on her own, don't even open it if you don't know who it is. If it's not me or my brother or my wife dropping off the kids, don't even open it. Because these contractors, see, it disgusts me. They don't have the right to come to your door.
They shouldn't be called contractors, first of all.
Well, yeah, if I can clear that up possibly with some percentages, I would say not even 15% of contractors or anybody that comes to your home trying to sell you work, not even 15% are what I would call real contractors. The 85%, they're riffraff. They're asking for cash. They're handymen pretending to be contractors. But mind you, there is still a small percentage, 10 to 15, that are so-called legitimate. They're slow, obviously. There's not enough work for them. So they're knocking people's doors, and they may even be working in a neighborhood, so they'll canvass the block.
But don't you get, I mean, I've had it at my door. We're in the area spraying driveways or resurfacing driveways.
They should leave a card in the mailbox.
And we're offering the deal because we happen to be in the area.
Today's special.
Yeah.
But you know, Bobby was right in what he just said. You know, just don't answer the door. Do not open the door and just say, leave a card in the mailbox. I will call you right back.
As a contractor,
there's no reason for anybody to open up their home to a total stranger.
I would never knock on anybody's door or ring their doorbell. I don't like when it's done to me. Whether it's a friend, family, doesn't matter who it is, you call first. If they're that desperate for business, make up some flyers, leave them in people's mailboxes. And that line about today's sale, baloney.
But isn't that similar to telemarketing, and which we all don't like? Do you do telemarketing as a contractor?
No, at least I don't.
Because there are a lot of scams perpetrated on seniors because they are home that are started through the telephone.
Exactly.
And I've heard of one in the Thornhill, Richmond Hill area. Residents have discovered snow plowing companies or going in under the, or telemarketing under the auspices of a snow plowing company, and then the first snowfall comes. We've had several of them this year. No snowplow. Contractor supposedly is gone, and they never get that service, and their money is gone.
Exactly.
Now that can happen to anybody.
Yes.
But seniors in particular.
There's something very important that I think that Bobby, I've heard him speak about this before on this topic, is the importance of references.
Yes.
If you're looking for a contractor or somebody to snowplow your driveway or fix your roof in general, what is the importance of references? The 10 references?
The 10, that's my quote.
Yes.
One of the easiest ways to eliminate the riffraff is insist on 10 references. Don't settle for anything less. 3 is the most common term thrown out there. I mean, 3 references, even the worst contractor can get it right 3 times, or you can have 3 friends to...
Brother, sister,
yeah, exactly,
wife.
To vouch for them. Put them through the 10 references, and also, again, if it's a big job, a kitchen, a bathroom, a basement, maybe even ask, out of these 10 references now that I'm going to phone, is there 1 or 2 that I can visit? Ask to visit a job site. That's proof in the pudding. Look at the job. If you ask for the references and there's at least 10, you check for insurance, Workplace Safety Insurance Board coverage in case anybody is hurt. Call your municipality, find out what licenses are required. If you follow all of these steps, which are also in my book, you will not be scammed. There's no way.
And is this
Yes,
the book
yes.
that we're referring to?
Yes, it is.
And how long has that been out, Robbie?
The book has been out just under 2 years.
Just under 2 years. So this is an ideal book to get to start the process and protect yourself from these. And as I say, I don't like to call them contractors.
No, I don't like that either. I keep referring back
because they aren't. They're thieves.
It's a very general,
They're thieves.
general theme.
Yes, yeah. Now, have you heard about other scams that are perpetrated, particularly on seniors?
There are many. Oh. And as I mentioned before, email is one of them. I mean, it's surprising of the amount of seniors that are actually using the internet and using email. This is a huge misconception. Everybody thinks, no, seniors are not on email, but they are. And email is what they use the most out of all of internet services. So they do communicate by email. They receive all the spam. And one of the most famous ones is the bank sending you an email saying, please log on, we need to change your password because you've been defrauded. So when they click on the link, they will open up a site that looks exactly like their Bank of Montreal, TD, Scotiabank website, and they will punch in their name and password, and it won't take them anywhere, but that information is recorded. So anybody can access.
And then the perpetrator
can access their bank
that
account.
Information,
exactly.
Which is extremely. And I guess we've all had the Nigerian
yes.
dear loved one and so on. Those go right to my junk mail.
Yes.
But some of them I've seen are very, very intriguing, and I've almost wanted to go into those sites just to see what they're up to. I haven't, because I'm not sure what that puts on my computer. So you're saying any of those, the banks, anybody that you do financial dealings with, shouldn't be asking for that information?
The bank will never, regardless of which bank people use, they will never email you, ever. If you receive an email from your bank, it will be directly from the bank manager you deal with, and it will be very specific questions, and they will never ask you for bank account numbers or any information like that by email. So
and I guess even if you get something like that, you should call your local bank. Make an effort to be on a first term basis,
yes.
first name basis with them.
There are disadvantages.
And verify that to make sure that it is legitimate or illegitimate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry.
There are disadvantages to email. Everybody says it's great, but you know there are advantages to being on the telephone. So people just have to get used to using their phone a little bit more.
I guess, as you say, there are the email scams, the telephone scams, the personal scams coming to the door. So what conclusion should we draw from this? I mean, we can't not go to the door all the time. We can't not answer the phone, and we can't not use email.
I think, Mark, what's really important is to create awareness that there are scammers out there. We don't want people to lose faith in humanity, you know, because it would make for a very sad world. So yes, you can trust people, and there are very kind and great people that will come to your door, but you just have to be aware of your surroundings and just really to look into anything that you sign, anything that you take, or any information that you give over the phone. And if you are afraid that you have been scammed...
we are so trusting, aren't we?
Yes.
As a society, we are so trusting.
Exactly.
It must be earned. It has to be earned. That's what I firmly believe.
Exactly.
Don't trust until there's a reason. It must be earned.
But that concept is almost foreign to many people,
Yes.
myself included.
Yes.
And where we automatically give that trust to people via phone, via email, via coming to the door. And it's that we have to change in people, is that, and I hesitate about saying not being trusting, because as you say, Suzanne, there are so many people that we should be trusting.
Exactly.
But how do you make that determination?
You know, that's not something that can be taught, unfortunately. It's just creating awareness. You know, and this is sort of what we try to do with the Mayor Seniors Advisory Committee, the events that we have, and there's another one coming up on March 28th. For the viewers who are interested, there is another Empowering Seniors event March 28th at the Burlington Senior Center, where we discuss these sort of topics just to empower them, because seniors are independent. They like to remain independent. So they need to just be aware of that these kind of frauds and scams are out there.
But is this not a subject that should be, as you say, more education on the subject of scamming, not only seniors but anybody? Is it important to sit down and talk to your parents, your kids, about these scams that are occurring, and get the topic out there? I know nobody likes to think of themselves as being scammed, and maybe they're a little embarrassed about being scammed.
Exactly.
But shouldn't this subject be talked about?
It should be. And actually, there are within our community some organizations that are working together either with senior centers or with community centers for any age. One of them, for example, is SALT, which is Seniors and Law Enforcement Together. There's one in Burlington, there's one in Oakville, and they deal with exactly these topics: reducing criminal victimization of seniors, enhancing delivery of law enforcement services to seniors, and just creating awareness. So they do talks, and they can put together groups of families and interested children and seniors and talk about, you know, how they can reduce these scams, and just to create, you know, a bit of a shield.
And not being a victim to them. But
exactly.
If you, Halton has been recognized as one of the safest communities in the greater GTA. Having said that, are people who have been scammed, are they necessarily reporting it, Bob?
I believe many aren't. It's
because of the embarrassment.
They're embarrassed. They're saddened by it. They don't want to report it. Many victims of crime do not report it.
And that's a shame, because we don't have exact statistics then. If you aren't able to do it, and we don't know if it's growing or diminishing in Halton.
It's difficult to gauge actually how many people are reporting it, because you just don't know when they don't report it. But Halton Region receives these kinds of calls daily on a daily basis. In fact, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police even set up an organization called the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre, where people can phone if they think they may have been defrauded or if they just want to report something. It doesn't necessarily mean that they have lost money or that they have provided any personal information, but there are organizations where people can report these things, and it's very important to report them because it doesn't mean they have to know who you are, but you can just give them leads. And it just empowers you to ensure that it doesn't happen to somebody else.
And that I guess is the big thing. If it does occur to you or to a neighborhood, and that's if it's door to door, Bobby, isn't that normally what happens? Is they target a geographic area and hit that area in very quick fashion.
People should report it, even if the contractor or whoever it is just going door to door. It's about generating awareness. Maybe the police will come by, maybe something will come up, maybe it's somebody they're looking for. That's important.
Well, I heard Police Chief Paul Sweet from Coburg, and I'll quote him on it. He said, fraud calls, and he was talking particularly of telemarketing, fraud calls to seniors are reaching epidemic proportions. And that's in a town like Coburg.
Exactly.
So unless it is reported, that just gives the empowerment to the criminal element.
Yes.
In my humble opinion, as opposed to giving it to the individual. How would you suggest that we get this message out?
Well, personally, I would say through my publication, because this is one of the things I have been trying to do. You know, I publish stories of empowering seniors through fraud prevention, elder prevention, abuse prevention, in even things like preventing falls and prevention is huge for seniors. And I think the media just has to, in general, become a little bit more aware of the magnitude of this demographic within our community. It's growing by 17% annually. It's not a joke.
And
so
it's not an insignificant number.
Exactly. It needs to be taken seriously. So media needs to come together, and in newspapers, television, and any possible way, and try and reach that target and say, like, this demographic, and tell them what's been happening in the communities.
Well, as I say, I firmly believe that although it may be perpetrated on seniors, that we can all, at any age group, take away something from how to avoid these scams, and we should talk about it.
Yes.
I mean, we don't talk enough.
Yes.
At the best of times, but this is one subject that although it's difficult to talk about because you're talking about money and so on, it should be a family type of discussion, shouldn't it?
I agree. It needs to be a family discussion. Unfortunately, that is a little bit difficult because typically the seniors' children, or what we call the boomers, are working, they have kids in college or in high school, and they don't make the time. But it needs to be taken more seriously. It needs to happen. You need to get together with mom and dad and have the weekend or the Sunday dinner and say, you know, this is what I heard that's happening, and I got this email that seems like it's fraud. What do you think, Mom? What do you think, Dad? So. And
Bobby, when they're faced with these contractors and so on coming to the door, not to answer the door is probably the best idea, or to use the large viewer that you've got. But if that door is opened, how do they protect themselves from being taken?
Well, let's look at it this way. Many times when I meet with a homeowner, a senior, and we talk about the renovation, these renovations can be very complicated. We're remodeling a basement, a kitchen, talking about tracing a water leak or an issue through the home. I will insist at times that on my second appointment that they have their daughter or their son there. It just makes sense. I even feel more comfortable discussing the renovation with them having a son or daughter there, and this will ensure me that The child will help the parent understand. They'll go over my paperwork, read the fine print, sign off on the job, and everything's good. But one problem is it doesn't happen very often, and I will even insist to them, have your son or daughter come over. Oh, they're busy, work, life. But I can be pretty insistent when I have to be. So it is important. I think the children need to step up. You know, the parents have done a lot for the child. This is turnaround now. Step up, and when it's a complicated home renovation, at least come over, get a feeling, feel out the contractor. It's important.
And
the good guys won't mind.
it's very commendable because Bobby's very good at that, you know. But most children won't even know that the parents have had contractors come in and out and get quotes and estimates.
So again, it's important that at all age groups they have a serious conversation with all age groups about how that money is managed, and particularly with elderly parents who can be subjected to this. Well, Bobby, I really appreciate you as a contractor being here, and Suzanne, I know that this is a focus of your magazine, not the only focus, but the founder and publisher of Silver and Gold magazine for what I would say is not a senior, but for adults 55 plus.
Yes,
and subject matter that is important to them. So I appreciate both of you joining me here today on Roundtable.
Yes, thank you,
so much
Bobby.
for having me.
And thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we want to remind you again of Bobby's book, which is about contractors and the 10 ways to avoid scams of home people coming to your home. I also want to thank our viewers, and remember, you should have that type of conversation with the entire family. But we want to thank you very much for joining us here on Roundtable. And if you have any questions or comments about this show or any show in the future, we'd like you to use our viewer response line, and the number is 289-337-7770. Either that, or you can go to tvcogeco.com, and all the information is right there. Or you can follow us on Twitter at TVC Burl Oak. So on behalf of Suzanne and Bobby, I want to thank you very much for joining us here on Cogeco. I'm Mark Carr.